Welcome, Exiles. Today we're diving into the world of crafting in Path of Exile. If you're a new player, this will potentially give you a basic idea of what is happening. If you're an experienced player, this is going to be a very bare bones basic guide to understand the basic crafting currencies, look a little bit into the essence crafting, fracture crafting, and what harvesting of life essence can give you. And then obviously give the new players a taste of where they can find good guides, specific guides for crafting specific items they will want. Starting with the basic currency, you have a number of basic currencies. You have the Orb of Transmutation, Alteration, Augmentation, Jeweler's Orbs, Orb of Fusing, Chromatic Orb, Orb of Alchemy, Chaos Orb, Regal Orb, Val Orb, Divine, Blessed, Sacred, Exalted. Then there are some orbs of binding, and as you can see here, there are a lot more orbs that you'll find around. So for now, let's focus on these guys. These guys will be our basics, and we're gonna craft some items today to a bare minimum, bare basic minimum. Let's start by using the Orb of Scouring, which is another orb, to completely turn all of these into white items. White items are super basic items, and they are what you will start off with. Orb of Transmutation will turn them into magical items, and as you can see, it has now got a random effect, a random modifier. If you do not like that random modifier, you can start spamming your Orbs of Alteration to get different random modifiers. In this case, I've got a pretty decent one, 21 maximum charges, so use the Orb of Augmentation to get a second effect. Magical items can have up to 2 different random modifiers. Generally, you do this mostly for flasks, as flasks crafting is limited to 2. There are other ways to getting better flask crafts using more complex methods such as the bestiary, but starting out of the bat, you're leveling up even till the late maps, you're gonna be doing just fine with crafting like this. Following that, then you have your armors. Now, an armor can have up to 6 links, and this is generally where you're going to have your main ability. To get more sockets on your item, you are going to be needing the Jeweler's Orb. Jeweler's Orbs gives you a number of crafting options, and this gives you the ability to randomize how many sockets you get on your item. Now, in reality, to be able to craft a 6 slot armor, it is very difficult just from spamming Jeweler's Orbs. You need to be very lucky. A normal way to do it is you unlock the crafting for 6 sockets, which costs 350 Jeweler's Orbs. And if you want to link them, you are going to need 1500 Jewelers. Linking Orbs, Orbs of Fusing, right here. These Orbs of Fusing give you the chance to link those different jewel sockets together, allowing the jewels, as you can see in my armor, to have support in each other. You have support gems and you have variety of other gems working in tandem in one go. If you don't want to go through that hassle, and let's say you have a pair of shoes, let's see if I have a random pair of shoes over here, and I do not. I do have this random shield which I was keeping. Let us scour it, and it's completely scoured. Then you grab the Orb of Binding, and you just give the Orb of Binding a maximum up to 4. You can give up to 4 linked sockets. In the case of shield, you can only get 3, and it will act as if it is an Orb of Alchemy, giving you a rare item. The last item in terms of discussing links are the Chromatic Orbs. The Chromatic Orbs helps you reroll if you have a green, a red, or a blue colored socket. This is important as it will be very critical to socket the right and the respective jewels that you want. Sometimes the rolls here will take a while, especially if you want a very peculiar, for example, you want 2 greens, 1 red, and 3 blues. It will take a while to get them all sorted. What is good to know that if something has evasion, it will favor more greens. If it has energy shield, it will favor blues, and if it has armor, it will favor reds. If it has a mixture of 2, it will favor those 2. So what you could do is, again, unlock the relative and respective crafting go to it and decide what type of craft you want to do here. This crafting from the bench will give you a little bit more control, but it will cost you a bit more for that certainty. So for example, if you want at least 3 red sockets, it will cost you 120 chromatic orbs. So that is something to keep tab of. Now, how do we get rare items off the bat? There are two main ways. You can use the more expensive way, where you use an orb of transmutation and then you use a regal orb. Congratulations, now you have a rare item. However, if you do not wish to get a rare item that way, there's something called the Orb of Alchemy, which just automatically turns any item into a rare item. You do not like the stats that you get on your item because you want very peculiar stats, particular stats. Most people want to have spell suppress, mana, and life on their items, among other resistances. So how do we get that? Well, that comes through a mixture of things. The first and most inefficient way is to just constantly spam orbs of chaos orbs over here, and hope that you get the appropriate rolls and random modifiers. But this is leaving it up to full chance. You have up to 6 different slots, 6 different mods that can be put in, and this will complicate things further. If you press Alt, by the way, you'll be able to see if you have a suffix or a prefix. This took me a while to realize, so just understand. You can also have double, such as the prefix modifier Sylphs tier 6 that I have there. So just keep note of that. So when you see something like that, you'll be able to use something like an Exalted Orb to get what you want by getting it 6 different modifiers. Now, what can we do to make crafting easier? Well, essences are the way to go, or using the crafting bench. Or if you feel like you want to trust luck a little bit, there's also Val Orbs. Val Orbs can corrupt something at the chance of giving it a very powerful ability. So for example, if I corrupt things enough, I might run the chance of getting a really good item. In this case, I got 2 white sockets, which are able to take any sort of gem, and 1 white socket over here. Not the best crafts. But if you want to have something that is a bit more reasonable, then you're going to be looking at different things. First things first, you want to look at these 2 over here. You have the blacksmith whetstone and the armor scrap. The armor scrap is what you're going to use to get the quality of your armor higher. This generally gives you better rating in energy, shield, evasion, and armor, but you could get also very specific quality enhancers that comes from horticulture crafting or life essence crafting, but we'll get to those later. If you would like to have a specific role on your armor to begin with, let's say for example we want to have, let's see, a relevant one, chaos resistance. Chaos resistance is also a good one. So you find your essences. Essences are these little currencies that you find when you're fighting monsters on maps which are encased in crystals. You break the crystals and you fight these mini bosses that give you the essences. 3 essences can upgrade into the next level, and they are up to deafening. Some of them start at whispering and they go all the way up to deafening. Others start at screaming, and I believe that is the highest they start. Let's say we want to use the deafening essence of woe, which is able to give us a definite chaos resistance on armor, as you can see on it. So you craft it on here, we get chaos resistance, we get life, intelligence, not really what we were looking for. So let's craft again. We got fire resistance now, and this is how it goes. You keep crafting till you get the rolls that you want. Once you get the rolls that you want, this is where things get a little bit more complicated. Let's say we want to keep life, chaos resistance, and maximum energy shield, but we want to remove the increased stun and block recovery. How do we do that? Well, you go in your currency tab and there's something called Orb of Annulment. And this is where it gets tricky, because you're gonna try and remove a specific thing. There we removed one of our life modifier, There we remove the chaos resistance. So this point is where you start again from scratch, and you need to keep doing this till you get the stats that you want. This can be a bit expensive, so till you are able to afford re-rolling quite a few times, I would recommend going with basic armor or perhaps buying armor of other people through the Path of Exile trading. Now, that said, where would we go from here? You can also come to your crafting bench and you decide, I want to have increased armor and evasion. I crafted that, and then you decide no, I want cold resistance, and you can put cold resistance. The good thing about this is that if you want to lower the chance of having modifiers being added onto your armor when you use the Exalted Orb, you can do this by crafting specific things. With the Exalted Orb, when you craft it, you are able to get additional modifiers one by one. This is completely random, and it is definitely up to luck and chance. Exalted Orbs are very expensive, so I do dare tell you to be very careful with this. Finally, you have Divine Orbs, something I really recommend only using when you're very happy with your item. All the guides that you'll see will tell you to only use this to maximize the quality, the numbers on your rolls. And you want to only use this when you have something that's all tier 1s and maybe a 1 or 2 tier 2s. For here we have 2 tier 1, tier 2, tier 2, but they are not the modifiers we want. Then there is the Blast Orb. This randomizes the value of the implicit items. This item doesn't have an implicit item. Let's find an implicit modifier. Let's find something that has an implicit modifier. Yeah, it would need to be in a range. I don't seem to have one. Essentially, an implicit mod is the one that you see up here. The 30% increased elemental damage. That is an implicit mod. In the case of this one, you have 14% increased cast speed as the implicit modifier, and the rest are crafted. As you can see, these guys have something different from all of the others that we were crafting. The golden stat, 150 to maximum mana, is a fractured craft, meaning that specific a number cannot be changed. You cannot remove the 150 to maximum mana whatsoever. So this allows you to craft better items. It allows you to craft better items because you are able to reduce the chance of needing to craft something. You, instead of having to craft 6 specific modifiers, you've reduced it to 5, and from those 5 you're gonna craft one of them in the crafting bench, so it's 4. So you are looking for 4 specific modifiers. In my case here, 2 of them were increased spell damage and increased cast speed. This one still has 2 things which I do not need: the 43% increased physical damage and the 31 to intelligence. I am currently saving enough currency to be able to afford to reroll till I get what I need. Ideally on this, I'll have 30 plus cast speed, 120 plus % on spell damage, and then increased lightning damage and increased area of effect, or even if I'm very lucky, 10% chance to deal double damage. That would make this one absolutely gorgeous. For now, I shall keep it as is, as I need to farm a lot more. And with that, we move to the last crafting option, and this is the horticrafting over here. The horticrafting allows you to reforge items with modifiers and have specific modifiers included. So we've re-rolled and we made sure there's a lightning modifier of sorts included. And you do this based on the crystallized life force that you collect as you go along. This is actually pretty good. This is a very good roll. Holy crap. So we got tier 3 life, not the worst, but we got good life regen, good cold, and good lightning res. And you keep doing this till you get what you're looking for. And really and truly, this is something that helps to roll very, very good stats on your items. For example, rare modifiers with a life modifier. You're almost certain to have life included in one way or another. Maximum life, maximum mana. So this is how you can control the first rerolls that you're gonna get. Caster modifier, it's not valid on this. So you keep rerolling. It's very expensive, but also very useful. What you're looking for from crafting, these are the basics. Mess around with them and you'll be able to have a better understanding. Now, really and truly, I would not recommend you to grab your items straight off and start mucking with them inside the crafting. What I do recommend is that you open up your browser and look up Path of Exile guides. Maxroll GG has an incredible guides list of guides that you should be looking at. You should be looking at also Path of Exile, where it will guide you what you should do and the steps you should do it in, and this will help you get your way forward. Hope you found this video useful. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one, Exile. Bye bye.